in a matter of seconds, we're going to be joined by a man who made some kind of history just a couple of weeks ago, becoming once again the UFC featherweight champion, defying the odds on several different fronts. And like I said in the Monday after the victory, it was inspiring. It was inspiring to see Alex Volkanovski dust himself off, work his way back, and do so by spitting in the face of all the doubters. Not literally, of course, but everyone who said, oh, you're over 35, historically that doesn't work. Oh, you just got stopped a couple times, historically that doesn't happen. He checked off all the boxes. He went in there in Miami. He defeated Diego Lopes, and now once again he is the reigning defending UFC featherweight champion. And it's 6:30 in the morning, so let's not waste any time and say hello to Alex the Great Volkanovski. There he is. The man himself. I have to do it every time, Alex. I'm so sorry. But just the fact that you come on at this hour means the world. So thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. I know you're going to tell me you wake up early with the kids and all that. You probably don't want to talk to me at 6:30 in the morning, and you still do it. So thank you so much.
No worries at all, mate. No worries at all.
All right.
I'm used to it. Obviously, I know I get the whole time zone thing, so I'm all good with it.
Thank you so much. Congratulations. I rewatched your post-fight press conference, the interviews that you did in the immediate aftermath of the victory, and you kept saying it hasn't sunk in yet. It hasn't settled in. Maybe in due time, what I just accomplished will settle in. I'm assuming now, less than a month later, 3 or so weeks later, it has settled in. And if so, how do you feel about what you accomplished a few weeks ago in Miami?
I don't know if it has.
Wow.
I don't know if it's just. I think it's just. I'm not too fussed about it. I guess the whole. Winning being champion again and all that type of stuff. I guess I just, I don't like it saying it like this, but care too much about that. There's so much more things that I sort of enjoy with what happened, right? Define all the odds, as you said, and things like that. I think that stuff means more, even just the support coming back, and then all the people that have been backing me from the start, and then just to see the smiles on their faces for me getting it done, and just things like that means so much more to me. Even going into that fight, you know how I always am. We talk about defying the odds and all that, but I've always go into fights and I try and even if I'm not the underdog, I try and find reasons to be the underdog, if that makes sense. People doubted me, counted me out. I've just always done that. I don't know why. I guess I've just always been the underdog growing up. So I've wanted to use that through my whole career. So I always look for things I don't know if it's underdog mentality. I don't know what it is, but I always look for things to put me there. But it's just good because this time I didn't have to. I didn't have to look for anything because it was all pretty much fact. Like people in my situation, before that fight, just don't get that done. Coming off 2 KO losses and things like that, it just does not happen. So it was for me to be in that position and have all these people supporting me. They were worried themselves, but I felt like they were a part of that journey with me. It's hard to explain. Everyone's always supported me, but this time it was more than that. It was like they were very emotionally connected, and to see the smiles on their faces. When I come back, bringing the belt back home to them, to people that I care about, even just supporters. I've even seen a few of the random supporters, their emotions through the process. I just feel like I've done it for everyone else as well, because I don't really care. It's weird. It's hard to explain. I'm not too fussed about being champion again, but I think it's just the story around it is what's really important. I guess that still hasn't properly sunk in either.
Did it not feel like when you were fighting in the past and defending the title and beating all these guys, did it feel more of a personal thing, and this time it felt like it was bigger than you, that you were inspiring your country, people who are told they can't do, people who are older? Like, did you feel like you were doing something even greater than you had in the past?
Yeah, I think so. I think definitely more this time. I would never say that I always did it for more of a personal thing. I guess it was just go there, win it, and then on to the next. Because it was my goal. I was chasing these goals, and on to the next. I guess it was that. I would always do it for my family, winning and being successful for my family. I guess that's always been the case. But I know doing it for the people, supporting me. I guess I've always done that a little bit, but it was just, this was a whole nother level this time. It was just, I think, just because I've always wanted to set a good example. I feel like I do that with who I am. But to be able to be in this situation, and I think a lot of people, talk about adversity being a privilege and all that, and a lot of people really understood what I was trying to say there, and yeah, I know, just I felt like it was a great message, and a lot of people can get a lot of stuff out of that. Hello, darling.
Who do we got here?
We've got Rain. Poor darling's a little sick at the moment, so she's all right though. Hey.
And by the way, congratulations, number 4 coming up.
Yeah.
That video was tremendous. Kudos to you for posting the video. I mean, well done.
Yeah, I mean, like, have a bit of a laugh. Obviously, I was expecting it to be a girl. I was like, just I'm destined for girls, and that's fine. I'm a girl dad. But I was like, oh man, and then I'm just like, couldn't believe it. I'm like, how does that happen? Like 4 times in a row, you know what I mean? Like, but anyway, all good. Happy. Obviously, I'm going to be very happy no matter what it was. But I'd be lying if I was saying I wasn't hoping it would be a boy. But very happy that it's a girl. It's fine.
Historically, I have learned that the toughest human beings always seem to have girls. I think Cael Sanderson had a bunch of girls, Mark Coleman. So I think that says something about you as well. That adversity is a privilege line. Golly, what a freaking line. Did you think of that on the spot, or is that like a mantra? Is that something that was told you beforehand?
Yeah, it was just something that I just said. Like, I wasn't even planning on saying it. It was it's funny because I thought I just said it after the fight, and then I realized I watched one of the videos while I'm walking around, warming up, and I was saying stuff. I ended up saying it backstage. I didn't realize I actually said it because you hear me walk around, and because that's when I was talking about, I'd say out loud. I always walk around and be like, "There's no way they're taking the belt away from my family," and so I was doing a similar thing. Like, I promised my girls I'm bringing the belt back, and then in my head I'm like, who cares about bringing the belt back? You know what I mean? Like, bringing a shiny gold thing back. That's nothing. I mean, like, me being in this position and rising to the occasion and, getting through this adversity is what that's what I want to teach my kids and the younger generation, or that's what counts. And then so I sort of thought that in my head, and I'm like, adversity. And then I just like sort of walk away and I'm like, it's a privilege, you know what I mean? I'm like, I said it something like that, and I'm like, oh, I didn't realize I said that earlier. So it was pretty cool. I guess it was something that was in my head through that process, like on the night. Because I'd be lying if you talk about why is it hard to come back from this situation. The most proud thing that I am is probably getting back from the 2 knockouts, the 35-year-old curse and all that type of stuff. That's just a number. You know what I mean? Like, I've always said I was different. You know what I mean? I've always said I'm different. I don't care. Like, people can whatever. But then the 2 knockouts coming off the knockout losses, that's something that scientifically can sort of be proven almost, that, it is hard to come back from that, confidence levels, and easier, to get knocked out and things like that. And I'd be lying if I wasn't thinking of that. You know what I mean? I'm pretty good at not letting it break me, but at the same time, it's still a thought that's there. And for me to, get through that and, get through that adversity as well, of even just, trying to stay confident. And even when the confidence wasn't there, just stay on path and just do what you had to do. Like, you know what I mean? Even when things were telling you like, oh, this ain't going good, you know what I mean? Like, shut up, you know what I mean? I can't, and just do what you had to do anyway. Quite proud of that. I mean, I'll eventually get more into that in time. But yeah, for me to get through that, and, you hear people talking about it, and, where like a lot of people, that's what they say, right? They lose confidence and, they just struggle after KOs, and it's a thing. You know what I mean? I'll tell you right now, it's a thing. And I think it was great for me to get through that, me even to get hit, even for me to get dropped. I'm glad that I was able to get through that, because that's just going to help me even more going forward. Now I can be like, hey, you're not just going to go to sleep as soon as you get touched. You know what I mean? Like, so that's pretty cool. And again, that was probably something I'm most proud of through this whole process.
By the way, when you say that, I'm probably going to get more into that in due time. What are you referring to there? It feels like there's more there. So I'd be remiss if I don't ask that.
Yeah, fair enough. But I mean, like again, like when we're talking about that sort of stuff, like there's obviously a lot more details. But I mean, yeah, that's something that I guess I can save that for later. And I
Okay.
just I don't really want to touch. Again, it's it ain't easy being in that position,
I
and like an easy way of putting this is, um, yeah, I'm usually rock solid. Like you know what I mean. Like I'm a problem solver. Even if there's adversity in the cage, I'm usually pretty rock solid. Where I'm like, don't let that get to me. And I just focus on what's ahead. You know what I mean? But yeah, I was battling. I wasn't just battling Diego Lopes in there. You know what I mean? So it was a lot going through the head while we were going at it. So it was but for me to get through was pretty good. But again, I won't get too much into
Sure,
that.
I understand. And was
That's
that
I mean, it's yeah. I guess that's cool. That stuff. I guess I could save for
sure?
if there ever when I guess my channel maybe selfishly,
I get it.
or maybe if there was documentaries or anything like that, you could really get into the details. I think that's stuff that people would really want to hear. So sorry, but I mean, I think you get the gist of
No,
what
I
I'm
get it. I
trying to
get it
say. But I
totally.
mean,
Just have to ask when that door is open. Could I ask, were you starting to doubt yourself on fight week? Were any of those doubts there? How was your confidence?
uh, not really. So obviously, yeah. I mean, there's always going to be doubts. You're always going to go. Even when I say I'm rock solid, I've always been rock solid. That doesn't mean doubts are never there. But I was very good at like whatever. I don't like. I was about to say voices, but I mean that
Yeah.
doesn't sound good if you say voices. Yeah. But those doubts and everything, I was pretty good at just being like, you can stay over there. I'm not going to listen. I don't care. Yeah, you might be in the room, but you're quiet. I don't care about you. Yeah. So like, they're always going to be there. But yeah, it's yeah, again, I don't want to get too much into it,
Okay.
but it's yeah, they're always going to be there. But I mean, fight week, it was, I guess, is the same as normal. Like, I'm pretty good at while you're getting them doubts. That's right. I've got to do this. This is what I need to do, and things like that. And I can sort of brush that off. So it wasn't too bad. Fight week, even back in the backstage, but in your Ilia Topuria fight and this one, like it was different.
Um, there was some talk afterwards that you may have broken your hand very early in the fight. What is the status?
Yeah, no break, no
No
break. It's
break.
fine.
Great.
He's got a hard head. He's got a hard head, so it was pretty busted. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, you're always going to get banged up hands, but it's fine. But I thought it was, but I mean, yeah, it was pretty painful. But it wasn't long till I usually know when I've broken something. So at the end, I was like, oh yeah, I'm not sure. I go, could be. I'll get it checked. And then the next day, I was like, okay, it's not broken. I'm pretty sure it's not broken. Still painful, but I mean, I've don't have ligaments and all that in my hand anyway. Like it just flops around, like literally, like
Wow.
it's but that's just normal. So it's fine.
And your face has healed up quite nicely. I mean, I saw
Yeah,
that video that you posted the next day, and there were some marks there. You look great.
yeah. It was I was pretty banged up, mate. Like I was asked straight after the fight, did Diego hit hard? And I'm just like, oh man, like obviously they, when you're putting everything in every shot, it's gonna be hard. But he must hit hard because I'll be honest, I was in some pain for a good week. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's a couple of other little things that I need to take care of right now. But yeah, he's yeah, I guess he's pretty solid. He does hit hard. It's weird because he like even his style. Like sometimes when he's punching, it doesn't look like it's the most textbook punches, but yeah, he does some damage. And as you can see on my face, I wore it. Yeah, you can see it.
So when you talk about all of that, I'm reminded of when we spoke before the fight, and you said like, I want to be active. I'll jump right back in there and fight Movsar, and then I'll fight again in 2025. You were asked some of these questions in the immediate aftermath, but here we are about a month later. How do you think this plays out? When do you when do you foresee trying to come back?
No, I definitely going again this year. As I said, I wanted to try and get straight back into it, but just not allowed. So but that's just going to have to wait a little bit. But I mean, I think look, you got straight after the fight, people were mentioning Yair Rodriguez. Obviously, all camp or before the fight, I'm talking about Movsar, and obviously he's in a position where. And if you look at who deserves the most, being undefeated, and who he's fought and ranking, I don't know. What's he ranked now? Would he be ranked right up there? He should be, but I don't know how it is.
He's Max is 1, Diego 2, Ilia 3 still, Yair 4, Movsar tied for 4 somehow, or 5. They're both 4.
So they're tied. Yair and Movsar. Yeah. Okay. So so they're both in that same position. Obviously, I've fought Yair. It's weird because I like Yair, and so when he was calling for it, before the fight, I wasn't really expecting it. I was like, didn't expect. Like you had like, if Pitbull won, I'm sure he would call for the shot. Maybe the UFC would maybe want it. And then like who else was there? Yeah, or Movsar. Like I thought they were like pretty much the only options. I thought it'd be pretty clear. But then Yair won, and then he was calling out. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I don't want to be the guy to turn Yair down because I like the guy. You know what I mean? So I don't want to rob him of an opportunity if that comes forth. So we'll see what the UFC bring forward. But again, I do like that, undefeated record that, I'd love to take that 0, especially for legacy and where I'm at. You're taking out an undefeated guy, you'd still say, I don't know how old he is, but he's still that younger generation, younger than me anyway. And, that rest of like that sort of different style as well, going out there taking, because I'm sure, when it's all said and done, Movsar, I think, is still going to be up there. I can see him being a problem for a while, and I go take him out, and he keeps building his resume. To have that name on my resume would be good. So I definitely want to take that 0. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, this was his tweet in the immediate aftermath. Congratulations on an excellent performance. You're a true champion. Now let's see what your word is worth. Tagging you there. So it sounds to me like he would be your top choice if it was up to you.
Yeah. Of course, he was my top choice going into the before the fight and after. But again, I just feel bad. I'm too nice. That's what I want. Yeah. But then I feel bad for Yair when I'm just like, I've already fought him. But you know what I mean? It's a tricky one. But I don't want to say no because I like the guy. But again, for my legacy, what makes sense? It's definitely Movsar. But again, we'll see what the UFC want. We'll chat to them and we'll see what that day works out like. Obviously, again, there's a couple of little things that we've got to take care of, and then we'll find a date, and then whoever it is.
What I find
obviously everyone knows I'm not scared of nobody. So, but I mean, we'll see what the UFC brings forward.
What I find interesting is if you just kind of look at the upcoming schedule, they've already announced in July they're going to New Orleans for Dustin Poirier's title fight, or excuse me, BMF fight, retirement fight. August sounds like it's going to be Pereira against Ankalaev. September is this Noche UFC card, which unless you're fighting a year, I don't know if it makes sense, and I don't know if it's fair to you to go to Mexico. And then we're getting into October, Abu Dhabi. Are you going to fight Movsar there? I'm worried that you'll only get one more this year when you were hoping for 3, and that'll be back into the year.
Yeah, I mean, getting 3 in is going to be trickier than I thought now. Yeah. That's something I definitely wanted to do. So that's why I'm like, I said that I was going to do this. But then you're like, I'm not that active guy. I said, but then I'm like, even if I fight later this year, I mean, that's just normal, right? Like I think I'm used to how regularly I usually want to fight, and I'm making that like the standard. I'm like, no, me fighting even at the end of the year is pretty much a standard, if not still reasonably active. You know what I mean? So it's but I mean, again, you go into the fight, you're hoping that you don't come out with any injuries and things you need to look after. So, but that's the sort of the situation. Was, as I said, there's a couple of little nigglies. Again, my hand's all right. Just a couple of other things.
On the Monday after the fight, I was a little surprised. I had John Silva on the show, and he had a great win. Mm-hmm. And we talked, obviously, what's next. And he said he wanted a title shot and laid out a case as to why he should be next. Did you hear that? And if so, what did you think of that?
I didn't hear that, but I mean, he's another guy. Like obviously, he's not ranked there yet, but I mean, he can't be far off it. Like what he's doing, he's you can see him tracking real quick to get there. So it's just tricky. Like imagine if you're like I like him too. He's actually a good dude as well.
You got to be meaner, Alex. Okay, you got to be meaner.
Yeah,
Stop worrying about these guys.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it's just again, at the end of the day, I'll just fight whoever. But what makes sense? I need to, I've always been like that. I like just what makes sense, and fighting. So I don't even know if he's ranked. He should be ranked now, right? Is he ranked?
Yeah, he is ranked. Well, he's 11.
Yeah, exactly. So it's it's not a hard sell in the case that people are hyped up about him, but everyone knows what I've always been about. You earn your shot next in line. I've always been a big believer in that, and obviously the UFC, with how they are, like obviously it's not just rankings that gets your title shot. It is more than that. I've never really played too much into that. I mean, whoever earns it, that's how I've earned, not given. I've always said that, right? And that's always, I'm a big believer of that. So it's just hard for me to not want to give Movsar the chance when you know that, he should be next, right? Like so it's hard. And then just giving guys that are ranked, 11, it goes against what I've always wanted to do. But again, I like everybody, so I don't want to turn anyone down.
Hey there, sorry to interrupt. Just want to remind you, if you haven't already, please do hit that subscribe button. We would appreciate it very much. And while you're at it, give us a thumbs up too. We've got live shows, interviews, clips, and a whole lot more going on this here channel. All right, now back to the show. I get that as well, and that's what makes you so special. I was wondering before the fight, given the fact that you told us that some of those, hey, life is okay, why go through all of this? Should I just call it a day? Thoughts were creeping in before all of this came to fruition. Was there any part of you, any sort of thought that if for whatever reason it didn't go your way in Miami, that would be it for you, that you would call it a career?
I guess I didn't look at it that deep enough. There was, how I talk about there's always going to be doubts. You're always going to have, doubts creeping in. That would only go as far as, what if you get caught? I didn't let it go any deeper than that. I didn't let it be like, you're going to retire and stuff like that. But so I guess I would have had to wait. But yeah, if I was to get knocked out again or something like that, I'm not going to do that to my family, you know what I mean? So I'm sure I would have been thinking real hard of, there could have been a good chance if I was to get knocked out in that cage, hang up the gloves, definitely. Because, my family, obviously, they're like waiting for me to hang up the gloves and that. And I'm like, oh, no, come on, we're all right. We're a little bit more. Come on. So,
would your wife like you to retire now? Is she ever saying this to you?
Yeah, she's sort of like, all right, you got it back now. Like, what do you do? I'm like, nah, come on. Especially championship money. You know what I mean? Like, it's you got to capitalize on that.
I get that. 100%. And the one fight. Go ahead.
Sorry, and just like again, like you talk about the adversities, and again, I didn't want to get too much into it. I want to, again, I've always been rock solid. I want to, do I want to get like, I want to work around that, whether I use that as a challenge, for myself to be like, all right, we can, let's make this all right again. You know what I mean? If that, I don't know, again, I don't want to get too much into it, but again, a lot goes through the head. I want to, the doubts and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
You're not as confident. The confidence isn't exactly where it needs to be. I want to go out there and be like,
you're the man.
I've got
you're back.
Yeah, exactly.
All good.
Yeah, exactly.
You told us that you cut out the cheat meals, the drinking, all that stuff. Did you allow yourself to have a little fun the last few weeks?
Yeah. Well, man, I don't think I went that crazy, but I put on a few kilos. So, I got real used to them six pack. I was like, even straight after, I'm like, I'm gonna or even actually maybe before and after it. I didn't eat too much straight after the fight. I couldn't eat because of the stitches in my mouth. But I'm like, I'm just going to make sure I stay lean, and I want to keep this six pack. I really enjoyed that six pack. I was very, very lean for this one. I was like, man, I'm going to keep dieting, but that sort of went out the window. But I mean, I'm going to bring it back. I'm back to dieting again, but I want them cheese grater abs like I had last time. I need them back. You know what I mean? Especially if I'm going to do any photo shoots and all that. I couldn't keep my shirt on for the last for the last 6 weeks of camp. Enjoyed that. You know what I mean? I ain't usually full of myself, but every fight camp, like the last couple of weeks when you start really getting lean, the shirt comes off quite a bit.
Yeah.
But this time it was like 6 weeks out of that shirt was coming off. But I mean, I wouldn't mind, 24/7 all year round, not being okay with getting that shirt off whenever. So I'm going to try and stay a little bit leaner. So during the week, diet, weekends, enjoy yourself. But I didn't go too crazy, but yeah, I've been eating.
Can I tell you something that I love? I love how Cristiano Ronaldo seems to be such a big fan of yours and really truly care about you. That footage came out after the second Islam fight where he went to Izzy and was asking about you. And then I see one of the top things after, one of your victory posts is Cristiano Ronaldo showing you props. Do you have a relationship with him?
I've chatted to him here and there. Obviously, he's a busy man. I'd love to chat to him all the time, but I don't want to be a pest.
Sure.
But I mean, yeah, he's great. Like you could see exactly what you said. You could see, him asking how I was doing.
Yeah.
After that fight, obviously, it was that that time I was a little bit emotional and vulnerable. So he was just checking up on me, which was cool to see. Then I was chatting to him. He really wanted me to fight in Saudi Arabia, and. But yes, I've kept little chats with him. But see, that was awesome. It's just to know that he was keeping an eye on it as well. Like I want to see, I want to watch Volk's fight. And he's back. The champ's back. You know what I mean? Like he actually not just cool. You won the champ. Like he obviously understood the story. He knows that come off 2 KO losses. Big break, can he bounce back? And he knows I was away, and then to get it back, he's like, the champ is back. Like, how good is that? Like, that he understands the story. So it's not like he's just, you won, cool, how good. Congratulations on the champ. It's like he knows that last year or two, whatever journey. And, and I don't know, I think it, feels like, he does care. Like what you said, like it does seem that way. So that's cool. I mean, he's one of the most, it doesn't get much more famous than that when it comes to sportsmen, you know what I mean? So it's pretty cool, especially when you could imagine how much he's got on his plate, and for him to be at least keeping a little eye,
Sure,
a close eye, but keeping an eye on my career it's incredible. You get a lot of people. Everyone's there's so many Ronaldo fans. So a lot of my mates and family seeing Ronaldo comment, they're like, "What?" They're like blowing out. Like, "Are you serious?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man, it's pretty cool."
I love the way it all works because right after your win, the Australian boxer Tim Tszyu posted a message that you had sent to him. He lost to Sebastian Fundora. He then lost his subsequent rebound fight, and this is your DM to him. Telling him essentially, I'm paraphrasing, that like, you'll be back, no problem. Just again, shows the type of person that you are. But what compelled you in that moment to send that to him?
Oh man, just we know how it can be. Like people are he's still young, still a great fighter, and it's only natural for you to get a couple losses and everyone doubt you, and then all of a sudden, he's done and dusted, and because he was there's a lot of hype, and then all of a sudden that can go so quick, and that can knock people a bit. I mean, he's a pretty strong. He's strong mentally in that anyway. But I want to let him know, it's like, hey, like, don't worry about it. This is as adversity is a privilege, right? Like I know the type of guy you are. You challenging yourself like the way you did, and that's why you're getting these losses, because you're actually challenging yourself, taking fights that people wouldn't do. But that guy that challenges himself, because you've been doing that throughout your career, and that's who you are. I know you're going to bounce back. This is going to be another challenge and a bit of adversity that I know you're going to rise through. So, like, don't worry about it. And that's what I was trying to explain to him. Like, oh, yeah, look, you challenge yourself and you pulled up short. Don't let that get to you. You know, I'm sure everyone's going to, you know, knock you down and think you're done. But, hey, because that's who you've been your whole career, that's how I know you're going to bounce back. So get back to what you got to do, and I'll see you on top soon. And we're both in a similar situation, right? Like, I was there, and, like, I was thinking the same thing. Like, you know, people are doubting me. They have every right, right? I said that. I'm not angry that people are doubting me. They have every right to doubt me. Like, but with my situation, I had more things against me. I'm like age and then just to see people like just think, oh, yeah, Tim's done. I'm like, what? He's young, challenged himself. What, now you think he's done? Like, he can't bounce back from that? Like, what do you, like, that's not how my world works. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's just not how it works. Like, but I understand people think that, but for me, if you've got the right mindset, you know, I don't care what's happened in the past. Like, you can change that depending on each individual. And yeah, he's again, like, I think he won the week before.
Yeah, just a few days before.
He's coming off coming off 2 losses, a little decent break, bounce back. And then, you know, same me. So we're sort of on the same sort of journey together, similar journey. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, I just thought I'd send that to him. I'm sure he still got a few messages from people, but I thought it would maybe mean something because I'm in that situation, and just be like, you know, let's bounce back. Well, you know, I think I've chatted to a couple of people in a similar situation, like, you know, when things aren't going their way, and again, adversity is a privilege.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I've used that. It's funny, actually, because now I was saying that I haven't really just come off the top of my head. I never use that phrase, but I would always explain that to people. And people have a couple of, you know, a little bad run, whether it was even in the F1, Formula One. Like, I know Isaac Hadjar, you know, chat to him, like, he had a bad little run with, you know, a couple of fights, a couple of races. And I'm just like, no, the bounce back, you know what I mean? I'm always talking about the bounce back. You know, that's what people are going to remember, you know what I mean? Like, that's the shit, you being here and then, you know, getting through that adversity and getting here. Like, that's, you know, that's where you can shine. You know what I mean? Capitalize on that opportunity. It's an opportunity. Go and capitalize on it. So I've always sort of talked about it, right? And that's just who I am and what I'm all about. I'm glad I come up with the actual phrase, because I didn't think it'd be something that'll just grab. To be honest, I didn't even think it hasn't been said before. It was just something that I just said at the time. And then all of a sudden, everyone's like, oh, that's great. And I'm like, oh, no, okay, cool. Because I know you hear that pressure is a privilege. So, yeah, it's like, I guess it's a similar sort of phrase. But then, you know, being in that position, adversity, you know what I mean? When you think you're down the bottom, you know, your rise to the top is only going to make you stronger, even if you don't get the result you want. But if you get that result that you're looking for, you know, that shit can make you a star. You know, that shit can really make you shine. So use it.
Just a couple more, and I'll let you go. Before it's all said and done, do you need that Ilia rematch, or are you content? Are you at peace if you don't get it?
It's just, yeah. Again, we talk about legacy. It would be great to get that win back. It's just that can't happen right now because, you know, if that opportunity was to come next, all right, let's do it. You know what I mean? It makes sense, but you know that he's moved up. He's committed to that. And he still needs to fight for the title. And then, so it's something that I can't focus on right now, because if it does happen, it has to be, we're talking at least a year away. You know what I mean? Because by the time he fights and then he's fighting again. So I'm planning on being a bit more active than that. I wanted to fight, again this year. So I'll focus on that, and then we'll see where we're at. But, I mean, it'd be great. Perfect world would have been having that rematch to get the belt back.
Yeah.
But, you know, that just wasn't the case. And you've got to respect what he's doing. You know, he wants to chase he's done with the featherweight, he wants to chase the lightweight. Let him do his thing. And then if we do it, maybe we do it at lightweight, you know, double champ again. Maybe does that, you know, I defend again. Does that put me in a position to imagine that if he was to win and then we have a rematch?
Oh, God. That'd be incredible.
Oh, man. Like, it doesn't get much bigger than that. That's perfect world for me. But again, you just a few things need to fall into place for that to happen, and that's obviously in time. So let me just do my thing until that happens, because again, I still want to be reasonably active.
One thing that I love about the aftermath of this fight, I remember not that long ago when you were on the way up, there was this thing like, oh, does he have the personality? Can people get behind him? All this stuff. Not only that, now you've made history. You've inspired people. You made even like, I'm 42. Like old guys like me say, like, you know what? I could still do it. Look at Volk out there. Like you've inspired fighters and non-fighters. You're an inspiration to fellow fighters, of course, the likes of Tim Tszyu and others. But then we see, the ads with you and Beverly, and you're doing the singing and you're doing the cooking with Volk. Like it's comical to think back to when you were first entering the UFC, fighting the Chad Mendezes of the world, and people are like, he doesn't have it. He's too vanilla. Look at you now. Now you've become one of the most beloved and popular fighters in the UFC, and like with this range, this personality where you're doing all these other things. There's a great irony there, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and I still remember that. Look, it was tough. Like you go through the process. I get it. I've always been that guy, but I guess I didn't have a camera on me all the time. I was just focusing on fighting, right? So that's you go and do interviews and people asking questions about fights.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then that's all it is. So and at that time in my career, I was just so invested in the career, and like just that's all I'll do. You know what I mean? Like that fighter's identity that people talk about is like, I'm either dad or I'm a fighter. There is no real Alex. So very rarely you would be able to see that guy. I wouldn't even see too much of him either, because I was just so committed to training and getting better. And and that's not a bad thing. A lot of people like talk about that as if it's a bad thing. It's, you want to be the best. You know what I mean? You have to fully commit, and that's me fully committing. I didn't have time for myself, so you know what I mean. So I didn't really get to do that. But as I started getting, more confident in me as a fighter, more confident in me as a person, I was able to sort of still show a bit of that, getting the camera in front of you and touch on that, and especially with the break. So you've seen it really come through, even though you've seen a bit of it before that. You really seen it start to come through with that break, because I was able to spend so much time on me being me, and fighting wasn't coming first. It's not family and fighting. I was doing family myself, then fighting. You know what I mean? And I haven't done that for 15 years, so it was cool. So I was able to really grow so much outside of fighting. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm like before that, I was, am I going to be okay after fight? Now I know I'm going to be okay. I'm great. Like, during that process, I'm like, am I going to be able to fight again? Like, that's a part of the adversity as well. I was like, man, am I going to be able to get back into this? You know what I mean? Like, so there was so many things, so many different situations and things to get through. But it is cool to see. It is really, really cool to see, because I was hated at one stage, which.
Crazy.
As you can see, the person I am, right?
Yeah.
You can see that I'm a pretty caring. I don't want to offend anyone. That's just the type of guy I am. I'm a respectful guy. I don't like to be controversial. And then for people to hate me was just like, what is going on here? Like, what have I done? It's just because I'm fighting loved fighters that people just absolutely hate you. And I'm like, just going, it was hard. Like, again, I didn't get that. Like, I'm not going to show people how much that would hurt me. But I mean, it was tough, to get through that sort of stuff. And you didn't know what to do. Then I start trying to be, maybe I'll be defensive and then act like I don't care. But then it's just not who I am. And then I'll just be like, I stop caring, and then just started just focusing on me fighting and just doing what I do. And then it all just started to change after that. But yeah, it's crazy now, because I feel like the love.
It's amazing.
As an athlete, like it's incredible. I mean, it's not just like people are a big fan of what I do, like just big fan of who I am as well. And that means a lot to me.
It's wonderful to see. It truly is. Last one, quick one. What do you reckon? This weekend, another proud Australian, Jack Della Maddalena, going for the title. How do you feel about his chances against Bilal?
Yeah. So it's obviously a tough fight. You've got to give Bilal credit. He's a lot of people, might not like his style or something like that, but he's very well-rounded. But I mean, Jack Della, I think he's a great matchup for him. I think because his scrambling abilities, he's got great scrambling ability. Even if Bilal was to get a takedown, I can't see him holding him down for too long. I feel him bouncing back, and then I feel just his boxing is just going to be, he's got great variety and great range of his strikes. You know what I mean? Like he can go body, head. Like he's got a great mix of boxing and that. So he's a powerful, strong dude. So I feel like he can start to, I won't say break Bilal, but I'm seeing a finish in sort of the later rounds.
Wow.
Which is, so a lot of people would be thinking that a Bilal will start taking over the later rounds. I think it gets better for Jack in the later rounds. I think Jack's going to get a little bit more comfortable with the takedowns, going to start getting to his feet more, and then he starts to let his hands go more and more as the fight goes on. And then he starts to catch him, body rips, whatever it is, big shots, and actually can put him away in like the third, fourth round. That's what I'm thinking. Again, Bilal's a great fighter, so it's going to be a tough fight, but I think we're going to have 2 belts in Australia, so that's incredible.
Love it. Love it. And I loved seeing Rhea Ripley out there supporting you. I love all the Australian pride right now in sport. It's great to see. You're an absolute gent. Appreciate you very much, Alex, and delighted for you. You've done it the right way, and you're being rewarded for it, and it's really lovely to see. So well done. Thank you for being an inspiration. Thank you for the great fights. Thank you for that performance. Go ahead.
One thing, exactly what you just said. A lot of people ask me, what's my greatest accomplishment through this whole process? I maybe said it to you before. It's me. It's the fact that I was able to be myself through the whole process. A lot of people lose themselves and, want to follow different blueprints and put on characters, whatever it is, and or let their fame get to them. I've been able to be myself through the whole process, and something I'm most proud of. And I think a lot of people can see that and appreciate that. And that's why, the love has never been, like the support has never been so big, you know what I mean? And I really appreciate every single one of you. I felt your connection in the cage, and I really appreciate it. The love has been unreal, and I thank you all so much for that.
Well deserved and earned. Thank you, Alex. Appreciate it very much. Congrats. Looking forward to the next one. Enjoy the time at home.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're the man. There he is, the great Alex Volkanovski, Alexander the Great Volkanovski, the once again reigning defending UFC featherweight champion, 2-time champ now, and he is creeping very close to Jose Aldo's record for most successful title defenses. He's 1 away now. Thanks for watching this video. Before you go, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for us. Also, give us a thumbs up, leave a nice comment. These things go a long way. And while you're here, do check out the rest of the channel. We've got live shows and full interviews, clips, and a whole lot more. We're doing big things here, and we appreciate your support very much.